So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to intro this bitch.
Intro it.
I'd watch Mila Kunis do stuff.
Why is it awkward? I just like to get my lean on when I'm over here. It's the internet.
The only one that isn't in on the joke, and there's feral goats.
We'll all be dead, and just have fun with it.
Yep.
So that all got cut. Anyways, what's next?
Or here's an idea. That technically didn't happen.
I love you.
Keith's bored. That means we have to do new things.
Fucking shit right I do!
Hello, welcome to episode 13 of the DBLBACK Podcast. Hello, I'm your host, Brent, co-founder, co-editor of DBLBACK.com, DBLBACK.com. DBLBACK, hopefully by now you have found your news and entertainment cooperative. We try to sift through a lot of the stuff on the internet, go ahead and relate that to things we've seen in our past, read in our past, and figure out what we can bring to your eyes and ears that are maybe a little bit worth your time spending a bit more headspace on. We use the podcast as a chance to talk over some of those things, try and figure out maybe where there's common ground or where there's maybe new fodder to make fun of each other with. So we take the podcast to get together and talk this stuff out. If you want to think of the podcast basically as you at a bar and you're overhearing the guys in the booth next to you talk about some interesting stuff, I think that's a good perspective to have. So I'll go ahead and throw it to some of my colleagues here, another robust contingent, if you will. I'll let them introduce themselves. Dave, why don't you tell the listeners what you do here at DBLBACK?
I'm the editor-in-chief of DBLBACK.com, and I talk about nerd shit rather frequently. As Ryan Burns mentioned, I think roughly 10% of the articles on DBLBACK.com feature Batman, because that's who I want to be when I grow up.
I'm Batman. You wish you could say that.
Yeah, I do.
Yep. Ryan, why don't you tell the listeners what you do here at DBLBACK?
I am DBLBACK's resident janitor. I do some editing in different applications on my Macintosh computer in my home.
Shout out to our new sponsor, Macintosh.
And Holmes.
And Holmes. Great. Let's hear from Keith. Why don't you tell our DBLBACK listeners what you do, buddy?
Yeah, my name's Keith, and I'm not only the president, but I'm also a client. That's it.
Thank you for consuming DBLBACking or something. Topher?
I'm Topher. I'm Ryan Burns' favorite rapper's favorite blogger.
And welcoming to the first official appearance here on the podcast, Judson. Judson Graham has written a fantastic article within the past month that you need to find some time to peruse regarding just kind of the issues surrounding the legalization of marijuana and its applications in Colorado and Washington. So we welcome Judson to the podcast.
Very happy to be here. Looking forward to being the resident legal counsel, consigliere, what have you. Very much enjoy your guys' podcast. And Dave, to your desire to be Batman, I think all we really need to do to make that happen is bring you down a dark alley, kill both of your parents, and then just wait.
Yeah. I mean, that's it.
I mean, first we have to get him a bunch of money, though, right?
I think we could use like $50 billion. That would be helpful.
And dig a cavern under his mansion.
I mean, I already have one of those, Brent. What are you, crazy?
Oh,
Yeah, it's called a harem, and he already has one of those. And Drake loves Topher's shit, by the way. Because I tweet with him often.
But he's my favorite rapper. Are you on a first-name basis with Drake, true or false?
True. I'm the one that told him to bring a lint roller to that basketball game.
That was your suggestion. Like, Drake, listen, I don't know how to tell you this, but listen, you got mad lint on your jeans, yo. Like, that's a bad look, son.
Like, you got money,
that shit up.
Like, why you have lint all over you, kid? Bring that lint roller to the gang.
Drake is on a first-name basis with everybody. Like, Drake he's just a first name, right?
Yeah. No, Drake has to call me mister. I'm not about that shit.
Mista.
You ain't about that life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. Ric Flair.
Woo!
I'm done.
Well, again, welcome to the listeners here, episode 13 and episode 12. The way we left it, there were a couple things we decided we were going to get a chance to double back on as a crew, kind of break into a few of those, but I know Topher had a a hypothetical he wanted us to get into right off the bat. So, Topher, why don't you posit your query?
So I think that, as any aficionado of pulp culture knows, there on a long enough timeline, you at some point have a really uncomfortable conversation with someone where you're like, oh man, have you seen X, whatever movie, show, thing it is? And the other person looks at you with just kind of abject horror and or disgust, and you realize you strayed into I have no business liking this thing territory. So, and I think we all recognize we have them. It's just, do you have the intestinal fortitude to make the admission right here and now, what is that movie, show that you have no business liking and yet you really, really do?
Mistresses.
What?
Go on.
Like you have one, or is this a thing?
No.
What just happened?
I don't think you should admit that on a podcast or ever.
Yeah, do I have to tell Carolina?
What the fuck just happened?
No, go on, Keith. Say words.
Oh, words. It's a show called Mistresses, man.
Tell
Oh,
us
and,
more.
Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about the show, maybe where they can find it, what the general plot lines are,
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
etc.
It's on ABC, I believe. I don't quote me because I don't know. It's about 4 women, and they go through challenging times in their lives, we'll say. And
So
they're
it's
all
Sex in the City?
with the new spin, and it's more the
Golden
suburbs.
Girls?
It's best not to interject with multiple shows when I'm agreeing with the first one.
You already did it right. Stop doing it wronger after this point. You already did good.
But I actually kind of like it.
What do you like about it?
They're just all they're strong. They're women cast in roles that men typically play.
Tell us. Give us an example.
Actually, no. Now I feel bad because I was all set to judge everyone's answer. I feel like I can't judge this answer now. Actually,
Well,
it sounds
you
like
can.
nothing to like.
No, yeah, you can.
I'm team Mistresses now.
Alyssa Milano's in it, I think's her name.
Oh shit.
Oh, okay,
How
I'm
the fuck am I gonna
sold.
talk shit about this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that hot Asian chick from Lost is in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's well documented here on the Doubleback Podcast that I don't watch Losts.
How many S's were at the end of that word? I don't watch
Sorry.
Lost.
Just one. Lost at the end.
I mean, that's all I really got, because that or Teen Mom, because my wife enjoys Teen
Oh
Mom.
my god.
Oh,
But
God.
no, but see, that's different though. Like that's something you're subjected to, and you like Stockholm syndrome. You just accept it.
yeah, that's a whole
different.
other thing.
Like,
Yeah.
wait, are you home alone watching Teen Mom?
Judson, what do I do right now, Judson?
I wouldn't say that
it was
a
on.
custodial interrogation, so the 5th is out. You cannot take the 5th.
I got bad
Oh.
news for you. The 5th is straight out. Are you at home alone watching Teen Mom?
You can't handle the truth.
That I can judge you for. I was Team Mistresses, but if you're watching Teen Mom by yourself alone, I'm judging you for
Dude,
that.
that story about Leah's daughter with that wheelchair, just so
Holy shit, you actually know characters' names. That's a real thing.
Wow.
And that will forever follow you for the rest of your life.
No.
Because
You're gonna end up on you're gonna end up on one of those lists. I can tell you this as your lawyer almost for sure. Like you're not gonna be allowed to be near high schools.
You can't go near playgrounds. You have to stay near away from parks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually something you have to answer in job interviews now is do you watch Teen Mom or Teen Mom 2?
You can't ask like, are you like a sex offender? Are you on the registry? But you just casually like, yeah, what are you interested in? Do you watch Teen Mom? And they go, oh yeah. They go, you fucking pervert.
And then,
It's
then the
on
next
his
question is
Tinder
alone.
profile.
They just stand up in the middle of the interview and they go, "Good day, sir." And they
I
turn
said
around.
good day.
You get nothing.
Oh, wow.
But
No,
Keith,
but
do you
Joe's right.
watch
That's a
it?
little bit different. So stuff that you're subjected to from your significant other is a little bit different than what he was
Yeah,
looking
that
for.
that almost shouldn't count. 'Cause,
I mean,
like,
I've
you
got some-
probably.
I have way more Teen Mom knowledge than I would like to have. I also can name way too many Real Housewives of some place.
Well, and I know Ryan Burns has some severe Stockholm syndrome. He wrote an entire post about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys want to talk about homework and going back on old posts. I mean, some of this shit is legit, and I will say that it is worth checking out if you are, forced to watch it. And
Ladies
if
and
it just so
gentlemen,
happens to
the
be on when
voice
you're
of
home
Stockholm
alone after
Syndrome.
you walk the dogs or something, you can watch it. It's cool. Like Stassi Schroeder, pretty hot.
I mean, we did get a huge bump in traffic on the site when you listed some Vanderpump Rules shit. We had 300% what we normally have from the Beverly Hills area when Stassi Schroeder was mentioned.
Exactly. They know that I wrote that.
Oh, yeah.
I love it, though, because I watched the clips that you provided in that article, and, like, that whole scene between her and Jax. It's such a superficial relationship. It was amazing to watch. She's like, you banged that cocktail waitress. Like, I'm just so over it right now. Like, don't talk to me. Shut up. And the dude took it together the next day. It was, I don't know. I'm into it.
I think that show is the one that is so far off the rails because it happens in a bar and everybody who's on that show is 25 years or under and they're all trying to be actors or actresses or whatever. They don't really have life goals so much as I want to be on TV. So now they're finally here and they're drunk and they have cameras pointed at them. And I feel like that's the best formula for success for the Bravo network.
That's the best path for success as far as everything we've seen in our entire lives have shown us, actually.
It's all of the shows. Here's what you do. You take them, you take away their cell phones and their connection to the world, you give them lots of alcohol, surround them with other average to decent-looking people, and awful things will happen amongst them. I mean, like, I'm just waiting for the one, like The Bachelor, where, like, in the 5th episode, one of them has an outbreak. Like, a cold sore outbreak that goes through the whole house. I mean, like, we're about to devolve into that. I can't do any of the teen mom, any of that drunk people. Just attractive drunk tweens hooking up.
Drunk people on film.
I have 2 shows to admit to, one of which I'm far more in and one of which I just started, but Married at First Sight is on the FYI network, and it's kind of similar to what Judson's talking about. I mean, you're basically saying there's people that are like, I want to be on TV, and so they match them up with scientific reasons with a sexologist and a relationship person and, you know, all these other scientists. There's like 6 or 7 different people that meet with them and figure out what they like. And then they just so happen that the 6 people that they interviewed magically are matched up and then go to the altar not having seen one another, get married, go on a honeymoon, and then move in together within a week. And they have 5 weeks to just, like, figure it out and see if real love is real. And then they have to decide if they're going to get divorced. And it's like a legally binding marriage.
Oh, my God.
For starters, that sounds terrible.
Really awesome. Terribly awesome.
Right behind that, can we all discuss that with maybe the exception of Judson, what horrible life decisions did we make that we didn't all end up as sexologists?
Yeah, I'd like to
I've made a lot of bad decisions in my life, but not becoming a sexologist probably ranks up there with deciding that I probably could flip the swing all the way around the swing set.
Top 3 at least.
Easily.
Well, Topher, I'm going to have to speak with my joyologist about the negative things that you just said.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm trying to say.
Wait, you have a joyologist?
I don't know. Jason Mraz has one. I saw him in concert once, and he came out late because he had a fight with his joyologist, so clearly that dude wasn't good at it.
I mean, I really feel like I should pattern my entire life and all of the professional relationships I have after Jason Mraz.
Is that a thing we're not doing anymore?
He's making serious coin selling his avocados to Chipotle.
Right?
So,
that's worked out. What's not to like?
Yeah.
You guys are making me rethink a lot tonight so far.
Oh, man.
So, a couple of good examples. Anything else you can think of as far as media?
Ryan had one more.
Oh, the other show, yes.
Business.
So,
okay.
This is actually like, how do I describe this? Not something I'm proud of, but the Singles Project, and like, yes, it has a hashtag in the name, like hashtag the Singles Project is on Bravo. And how do I describe this?
I don't think you need to. It's on Bravo.
Well, guys, we're talking about intestinal fortitude here. It's like 8 idiots that are on television, and they film the show the same week as it airs. So they go on dates, and people can live tweet things to do on the dates, like, and they can vote whether they have chemistry and shit.
That sounds awesome.
See, there are some new concepts here that are being reached, and we're going to reach new lows, and it's going to be amazing. Because pretty soon, Teen Mom, they're going to just like throw 2 teens together, and then they're going to be like, hashtag this if you want to fuck and make more babies and be on MTV, and then they're going to do it.
Hashtag baby yes, hashtag baby no.
By the way, I think they have that show. After my fiance got done watching Teen Mom last night, a show called Virgins or The Virginity Pact or it was some show about virginity.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just they put 10 virgins on TV and they have interviews where they're like, yeah, I'm a virgin now, but I feel like tonight's the night. And this is the fucking show that follows Teen Mom.
The way that Burns' head snapped up when you started talking about this show was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. Like, my dogs do the same thing when I'm like, do you want to go in the car? And they're like, fucking shit right, I do! Burns' head was just like, I'm listening. Yes!
Well, he thought he was the only one.
Oh, it just because I watched Teen Mom like once and I got super sad and it made me feel really good about my life and how I just won the lottery.
Yep.
Then it's like how are they going to get worse? And then I saw a preview. I never saw that show about the virgins, but it was very sad because all they end up doing is talking about sex and that's just no place to be when you're a teenager.
You feel it's more sad than Teen Mom?
Well, the only thing that would be sadder is if they had like My Sweet 16 followed Teen Mom. Because then they're like, oh, I live in a trailer, and then she's like, oh, I got a Bentley for my birthday.
You're right. That's the only way it gets more sad. We've reached maximum despicability. Well done, MTV.
Remember when they used to play music videos?
I mean, trust me, coming in the fall season, that's about to be what's about to happen.
It's a back-to-back block. It's a 6-hour block of Teen Mom followed by 3 hours of Sweet 16 followed by their reunion show, and they all just sit there and look fucking disgusted.
Speaking of doubling back, so I actually have an example that's not a reality show, and intestinal fortitude. I have a hard time talking about this and feeling like I get to keep my man card, but it's so true I can't deny it. I will sit and watch The Notebook any chance I get.
Get
that
out.
movie
you can
get the
is
fuck out.
fantastic.
Just get the
You can
fuck out.
kindly leave, sir.
It's
Put your headphones
such a
down.
good movie.
So big.
Shut your laptop and get the fuck out.
I had a very good friend whose only go-to pickup move in college was at the bar to just throw out there, hey, why don't we go to my house and just throw on The Notebook?
Okay, that's different. That's very much different.
And I'll vouch for that one. That one works. That one works.
Yeah, when you have no game.
When you've struck out the previous 10 times, then yeah, if you throw out the Notebook line, I'm sure it's terrific.
I'm sure it works for Gosling every time.
Well, but that's different though. That man is handsome.
I mean, Gosling could just say yo. Like on that app that says yo. Like he could just say yo on that app, and that would work for Gosling.
Seriously, the fucking Notebook?
Yeah, it's so good. It's a really, really good film.
I feel
the performances by
ever doubled back on to this point has just been fucking ruined.
You know what? Brent and I, we were talking this week after he recommended.
Who's Big Spoon, Dave?
Sorry, we were talking this week.
We were talking after earlier this week.
Shut the fuck up. Brent and I were talking after he recommended Frailty and a movie called Employee of the Month to me. That Brent loves movies with twist endings. And
There's a twist ending!
I feel like, isn't Notebook a movie with a twist ending? It has a little bit of a twist ending, right?
Barely, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Brent is suckered in by twist endings.
At least movies that came out in like 98 through 2004 era. Yes, maybe so. Huh.
It's like I don't even know you anymore.
It's right in Brent's wheelhouse.
Hey, Brent, would you go to the other side for Gosling?
No.
You hesitated a lot.
Yeah, like, I almost thought about the reason I hesitated, I almost thought about making that same joke because you and Toph have pinpointed your men. Toph with Johnny Depp and you with Alec Baldwin? No.
What? No, but he's a close second.
But that's a real weird switch.
That is a real weird one.
I mean, I'm not going to judge a man on his switch, but like...
Matt McConaughey.
You just did judge a man on his switch.
Yo, I mean, Alec Baldwin's my side bitch, but,
like,
don't you talk about her like that.
This topic comes up way too frequently.
Yeah, that's why I avoided making the joke, and that's why I hesitated to even answer the question.
But you'd switch.
But sure, I'd switch sides for Ryan Gosling if that's what you wanted to hear. And
The
if
fucking
that
Notebook.
explains why I like The Notebook in a nice, neat little gay package for everybody.
It explains why you also like that fucking Cracked podcast.
Yeah.
The Cracked Podcast, eh? Are you not a fan? Is that what you're trying to say? Did you not like my after-hours homework? Please, tell me more.
I think he's just telling us that you like to wear short UPS brown shorts around the house.
Yeah, no, you nailed it. I'm good. That's it. Drop some mic. I'm done.
Yeah.
So the way that I thought about this question was probably wrong, but I thought about movies that I shouldn't be into because they're not like of my time now, and I hadn't seen them when they originally came out. So I thought of this question probably the way wrong way. But I thought about Ed TV, which is a movie that Matt McConaughey was in. We were back last episode. We were talking about Matt McConaughey, and this is one of the like residual things that happened as I watched that movie. And I had never seen it when it came out, but it's a movie that's essentially about what happens when, you know, reality TV is actually real and a camera just follows you around. And now reality TV is so prevalent that that movie would not be interesting anymore. So I think that that's what I went to when I thought about this, is that makes no sense in this current time period. But it also is, as Ryan is so wonderfully pointing out to me and jumping up and down in his room full of U-Haul boxes, Ed TV is really similar to The Truman Show, which was our other topic that we were going to talk about this week, was what the internet apparently calls twin movies. I didn't know this until I started Googling around and trying to come up with good ideas, good examples of it. But what we're talking about here is, for some reason, and probably the reason is money, Hollywood studios come out with very, very similar movies within the same year. So you have a lot of good examples like Deep Impact and Armageddon. We talked about Ed TV and The Truman Show. I want to know, what are some of your favorites where you think, oh, this is just way too close. Like, they didn't even try to switch us up on this one. And then also, I'd like to go through a couple and have you guys pick which ones you like better.
Yes, please.
So
Okay.
what are some examples you guys can think of?
Illusionist and Prestige.
Right.
Very good.
White House Down.
Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Divergent and The Hunger Games.
Yes.
So yes, The Illusionist and The Prestige, which is oddly enough the only one that I actually think is a good, like, both of those movies were interesting for their own specific reasons. All the other twinning movies that are out there are the same fucking thing, just with different B-level actors in them.
Yeah.
Yo, Val Kilmer was in Red Planet. Mission to Mars was just the same movie.
I want to put that shit on Front Street right now. Val Kilmer, Red Planet.
I mean, there's also Top Gun Iron Eagle with Louis Gossett Jr.
And I don't think those two. That's like saying that like Airwolf, just because it involved a flying thing. Like,
I mean, it was two movies about fighter jets.
no,
I mean,
Iron Eagle is its own. I refuse to accept Iron Eagle and Top Gun as a twin movie example.
they came out the same year, and they're about fighter jets.
You got mousy.
So I actually want to go a little deeper on this, like, and I'd thought about this in the past because it's bound to happen, and it's going to continue to happen in Hollywood for years to come, right? There's something that happens in the news, or there's some, novel that is getting a lot of notoriety, and there's some minor twist that a writer or seven can kind of come up with, and they take it to all the studios all at the same time, right? And that's why we get stories that get greenlit about the same time, and then take 2-3 years to get made and are released around the same time, but seemingly have enough differences where they're their own movies. And studios have sunk costs and into the marketing, into the productions, etc., that neither one of them is going to back down. It's like any product that hits the market, you're not going to slow down your new technology just because somebody else is going to put it out there, unless you have something that's really going to differentiate it, so you can let somebody else be the market leader and lose money in the long run.
I think that's one thing. Like, so we had Zero Dark 30 and SEAL Team 6 both come out, like, around that central event, the same way that Captain Phillips and Hijacking, something like that, like, all centralized to actual news events. But, like, the flip side of that is sometimes, like, with Armageddon and its horrible fucking twin. And then there were the Paul Blart Mall Cop and Observe and Report came out at the same time. Like, those are not topical. Not to mention they're just bad movies. But, like, I think that, like, it's one thing to kind of understand when, like, all right, so we have SEAL Team 6 and Zero Dark 30. Like, those are topically tied, right? That makes sense. It's when they come up with the same horrible fucking mall cop premise movies that you lose all faith in humanity. It's like, this wasn't funny the first time. Fuck doing it twice. Like, why is this a thing? Like, honestly, we're that devoid of good ideas that we're willing to accept 2 fucking space meteor movies or 2 mall cop movies?
Yeah.
I mean, Topher, are you trying to say that in 1998 our planet was not struck by a meteor that spawned 2 movies?
Not as I can recall.
Okay, all right.
You know, according to science, that destroys all life forever on end. Okay. So, you know, I'm not 100% sure.
But there was one that got, like, historically close in 1994 or something, and somebody somewhere was like, oh, what if it actually hit Earth? I'm going to write a story about that. And then fast forward 4 years, and that's when the movies are coming out.
Right. Like 200 people were like, I'm going to put on some Nikes and drink this Kool-Aid. And then 2 other people were like, I'm going to write movies.
Yep.
I thought
but could you say that they're ahead of their time, though? Because isn't NASA planning to land on an asteroid pretty soon that's like the same exact thing as Armageddon?
I don't think we're going to attach nuclear missiles to it.
Not yet.
Can we put Bruce Willis on it?
Yet.
To stop him from making Die Hard 6?
I am all in favor of shooting Bruce Willis into space.
So the real question is that are 2 different studios separately, accidentally coming up with these ideas, or is it corporate espionage? Is it like they each have, you know, secretaries that work or that talk on the outside, and the one says, hey, you know what, we're making a movie about the fucking White House, and there's a hostage situation, the president shoots a rocket launcher. And then the other studio goes, that's fucking genius.
There's no way that can be the case because we had 2 mall cop movies. So
I love the secretary idea, though. Like, they're their own, like, subculture. It's the secretaries of studio executives that are actually, like, pulling all the strings.
I think the real question is, would you be like Buscemi in Armageddon and take out that loan and then go to the strip club? I think that's the real question. And the answer is yes.
Yes.
Always choose A. If strip club is one of the options, it's always choice A. Pick A.
He found real love, too. I mean, when they came back, like, she jumped into his arms?
Well, I mean, if you're going to save the world from total annihilation, I would hope that your stripper pseudo-girlfriend would welcome you back with open arms when you got back.
Yeah, do you think they lower the VIG on that loan?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, they'd probably forgive it altogether.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Those guys seem pretty tough.
You've obviously never had a loan with a VIG running. If you think that just because you stopped an asteroid from crashing into the Earth, that the VIG stops running.
Motherfucker, I don't give a shit about your astronaut shit. I'm gonna break your legs.
I will fucking kill you.
Dave, wow, man, I love you, man. That was awesome.
Again, if this were Madden Hood Edition, my Hood rating would be -4.
No, I think you got some decent street cred out of that right there.
I don't think so. I have as much street cred.
I see them.
I have as much street cred as Aubrey Graham in a wheelchair in Degrassi.
You actually have less than that, which is kind of impressive.
Yeah. All right.
Nailed it.
All right, so you also wanted us to maybe go down the list, Dave, so it sounds like you came up with enough examples to where you could ask us.
Well, there's the other guys. There's the other guys, and what else?
Yeah, let me shout them out, and you guys tell me which one that you thought was better. So Ryan brought up the Prestige. I'm a Prestige man.
Yeah, I would go Prestige, which I actually find to be an undervalued movie. Nolan's stuff is always amazing. That one's not as amazing, but very good.
Which one had Norton in it?
That was The Illusionist.
Give me the one with Norton. Fuck you guys.
By the way, can I also point out that the Prestige had a twist ending, and Brent fucking loved that one?
Damn it!
Well, no,
yeah.
Did.
Shit.
Wow. Motherfucker.
I also point out that the Prestige is based on a true story because Christian Bale is actually American and acts like he's British.
For no reason. When he's not doing the Batman voice.
Can I point out that it's actually based on a true story because Hugh Jackman actually has a magic cabinet that clones him every time he does a magic trick?
He has a closet full of hats.
That's how he's done so many Wolverine movies and looks so jacked. So there's Volcano and Dante's Peak. I've never seen either of those.
Dante's Peak, man.
Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak had Pierce Brosnan. And
That's why.
All right, fine. Sign me up for that one.
we have Turner and Hooch and Canine with Jim Belushi.
Yeah, Turner.
Easy. Turner and Hooch.
Yeah.
I want
Do
Belushi.
both dogs die?
Oh, fucking spoilers, asshole.
Hey,
I mean, by now they're both dead. That's another thing that I think about all the time when I watch old movies with animals in it. I'm like, you know what? Babe is probably dead now.
He was fucking delicious, too, let me tell you.
Oh,
wait a
no,
second.
Turner and Hooch is the one that Brent likes because you think he's dead. Then
Fucking twist ending to it, like every other movie he's fucking like.
I don't think anyone saw
I did not see that coming.
I don't think anyone saw either of these, but there's Friends with Benefits and No Strings Attached. Those came out in the same year.
I saw Friends with Benefits.
If any of you answer this question, I'm leaving this podcast right fucking now.
One of those movies had Mila Kunis in it. So
I
That's
saw
the one I saw.
movies. The one with
Yeah.
Mila Kunis is hot.
I'd watch Mila Kunis do stuff.
All right, well, Judson's not invited back.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool. I get it. Yep, I understand.
Yeah, Mila. It
You
was
are?
I mean, whatever. You know, it was a
I don't
Stockholm
understand.
syndrome situation. We've already addressed this.
The other one has Natalie Portman in it, right? So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And Toph,
The last one I'll give you is Tombstone and Wyatt Earp.
Tombstone,
Not
without a doubt.
Tombstone.
That's easy done.
Why would you even ask that?
Omni Huckleberry.
I'm
I
your
mean, it's
Huckleberry.
got Val Kilmer saying sarsaparilla like every 13 minutes.
Maybe we should have a spelling bee. Like, maybe cards is not your game.
Jesus, like how do it? That's not. I don't think that's a fair thing because Tombstone is like Armageddon and what's the other one? Help me.
Deep Impact.
Deep-
Okay, both of those are shit. So it's easy to go. I don't know which one of these are better. It's like, do I want to get kicked in the dick or get like punched in the nose? Like I'm not excited about either of these options. Tombstone is
Yeah,
fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good
yeah,
movie.
but you just chose Canine over Turner and Hooch. Turner and Hooch is a classic film. Canine has like a 22% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Did it have
just
Pierce
because of
Brosnan in it?
Belushi?
No, Belushi.
Just
That's
because
my
of Belushi.
Yeah.
You just defaulted because, and it's not even the good Belushi.
Well, I'm gonna admit a deep dark secret to you here. I've never seen any of those fucking movies, so I'm picking arbitrarily. So if that makes you feel a little bit better, if it helps you sleep at night, then I was picking arbitrarily.
So last week in episode 12, we did assign each other a little bit of homework. I will tell on myself. I did not get a chance to read the full novel. I gave myself a little bit of slack just because I am vaguely familiar enough with kind of the throes of the 85 Bears season. But Toph had introduced to us a novel again by the name of
Monsters, the 85 Bears, and the Wild Heart of Football by Rich Cohen.
Bears.
Cool.
Yeah, Coach.
What were some of like maybe your favorite anecdotes from the novel?
Well, my favorite part was how I'll never assign a book again because you illiterate fucks can't read or write the English language. So if you had read the book,
They
you would have
talked
found out
about that in the book?
Yeah, that's on like page 1. It's like, so I heard Doubleback was going to try to read this book, and then, wow, that was a stupid idea. The whole benefit of the book is that a lot of these perspectives have been talked about for a long time in terms of McMahon, Ditka, Sweetness, the fridge. Like, we know kind of these stories. The beauty of this book is it's told from a perspective of someone who is actually experiencing it, who obviously at the start of the season you have no idea how good your team is. It's kind of the everlasting hope of every football fan, right? You ignore all kinds of logic and sensibility and assume that this year is your year, unless you're like a Tennessee Titans fan, in which case no year is ever your year. Fuck you. So it was really interesting to hear it from someone who had experienced it and got some access and was able to provide a different perspective on a season that has kind of gone down as one of the best teams in NFL history, at least on that defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Well, I'll argue that if you ever talk to anyone who lives in Chicago and you ever mention the 80s, all they'll do to you is talk to you about the 85 season. So why is this perspective unique?
Well, for one thing, you're an unwashed heathen. The 85 Bears defense is the greatest defense in the history of the NFL. Fuck you, Baltimore and or New England, whatever Tampa Bay half-ass arguments want to come up. The 85 Bears team is the best defense in the history of the NFL. So, and I say that as not a Bears fan. Like, that's that's objective in a way that's not objective at all.
Science.
I mean, that defense was scary. It was scary. You had a couple of Hall of Famers coming at you from that defensive line, and you had Mama's boy Otis Wilson. You had Mike Singletary, the Samurai. It was just a scary-ass defense, and their essential philosophy was, we're going to bring so many guys that you can't block them all. And we don't care if you try to throw it, because you know what's going to happen? You're going to have Steve Mongo McMichael, you're going to have Dan Hampton, you're going to have Richard Dent crushing the fuck out of you all day, like exactly what happened in the first couple plays of the Super Bowl. We're going to knock your quarterback out of the game.
Well, and it's something that every single NFL team has tried to replicate since, in that it doesn't matter who you don't block, someone is going to wreck shit back here. And some of those teams have come close.
The 46 defense, the vaunted 46 defense that was utilized in the 85 Bears season, is actually, it went away for a really long time, and just last season the New York Jets basically replicated it again.
You've got to have some incredible personnel to run that defense.
Right.
And the Jets don't have it, so spoiler alert, it didn't go well.
What Rex Ryan does have, though, is the balls to try to do it.
The balls to do something horribly for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did really love that portion of the book, is that it came from, I read the first 45 pages, so I feel like I won in terms of the double back group here.
You win.
I made it 45 pages in.
You did it.
So, but I did really love that it was from a guy who grew up watching the team and like traded and begged, borrowed, and steal to get his way down to New Orleans to watch the Super Bowl, because it might be the only opportunity that he was ever going to have. And as a Cubs fan, that is a thing that I can identify with.
You get one opportunity, you fucking take it.
Right, exactly. So you go and talked about how he was 17, but, you know, Bourbon Street didn't care. And that it was such an experience that, you know, I felt like, even though I wasn't alive during the 85 Bears championship run, I got to live vicariously through this guy. And it was that's the part that made me enjoy the beginning of that book.
Very cool. So sounds like something for sure Bears fans should pick up, and maybe just NFL fans in general. So good recommendation, Toph. Sorry we disappointed you with our illiteracy.
We disappointed the world with our illiteracy.
As we continue to do here at Doubleback.
I mean, give us a 7-minute web video, and we're all for it.
And speaking of 7-minute web videos, my homework here was some of the After Hours web series, which is done by some of the Cracked.com crew. I'm a big fan. Dave wrote an article on Doubleback.com, which recommended a couple of his favorites. I think it's a really fantastic small dissection of classic movies, classic actors, classic TV, different spin on stuff that in many times I haven't thought of. And me loving the twist ending, it gives me a chance, I guess, to let somebody else provide a twist ending that didn't actually exist in the real thing.
Yeah. I think I'll just give you a couple of my favorites. I already obviously wrote about it, so I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I really love Which Ninja Turtle Are You? That's a good one. I love Which Apocalypse Would Be the Most Fun? That's a great one. That's probably my favorite. And I also love the ones that tackle Back to the Future or Batman or Star Wars, some of our, you know, nerd favorites. So I'm not going to get too deep into it, but it's fun because if you watch a bunch of them in a row, you get to know the characters that they have, and you almost know what's going to come out of their mouth when they're talking about a certain topic. So they're good, and they're free, which is also great. So you can play them in the background while you're, you know, working on a project or you're at work or whatever, and they're always interesting.
And the point I took away from it, it's everybody's familiar with Seinfeld, kind of the same format. 4 people in a diner, 3 guys, 1 girl, just dissecting things and kind of having inane conversation. And it's the type of thing you and your friends would end up talking about, but pretty clever stuff.
All right, good.
Agreed. So what are we looking forward to doubling back on these next couple weeks here, guys? Judson?
Honestly, I am in full-blown trial prep mode. So I will be doubling back on depositions and briefs and following your guys' lead to find me some respite from my monotony.
Awesome. As a legal professional, are there any law movies, trial-based movies that really hit home for you?
Honestly, you know, it's very funny. It's very difficult to watch them. Like,
Yeah,
for example, I'm bummed I missed the McConaughey conversation. A Time to Kill, he does that phenomenal monologue at the end, right? And he does, close your eyes and envision. And I'm not a seasoned attorney. I've only been out of law school a little while. But I know that as soon as he starts doing that, I'm just going to start objecting for bullshit.
Objection. Fuck this guy.
Exactly. Objection. Look at him. Look at how
Objection.
Objection. What the fuck is story
Stinky
time?
six packs over here.
And then, hey, judge, can I have a sidebar? And then you step up to the judge, and then, as you were. No, please, counsel, continue. Take him right out of that shit. Yeah. So, the reality is, I honestly think the best legal movie from, like, a procedural standpoint and actually being like a real trial and is My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, okay.
My Cousin Vinny is about as close as you get to actual legal rules. I had a professor in law school who said that if you can follow what's going on there, you could bullshit your way through a trial.
Nice. For a second, I thought you were going to say liar, liar.
Oh, another excellent one that I haven't seen in a very, very long time. I guess my double back would be to come up with your favorite legal movie of all time.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay. What you got, Burns?
Are we doing the hypothetical too? Are we doing?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, I have two things. Okay. What are some brands or items from your childhood that don't exist now? And then also, what are some things or brands that you use now that you know your children's will never experience?
Okay. Children's.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yo,
Okay.
children's.
Good. Toph?
So I'm going to go ahead and double back on The Outline of History by H.G. Wells. It's just under 1,000 pages, so fuck you guys. Read a goddamn book.
Is there an audiobook version?
There's a big bag of shut the fuck up is what there is. No. So I'm going to double back on something that I've been super pulled into recently, which is The Wire. I absolutely loved the show the first time around, and I've started watching The Wire from the start again once it became part of Amazon Prime. So I am, unfortunately, unlike Community, where you can kind of pick and choose episodes and people can jump in and out, there's no possible way I can recommend a single episode of The Wire. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend episode 1 of season 2 of The Wire, simply because in terms of crime procedural shows, like Law and Order is kind of the on-TV standard, but The Wire, I think, does a much better job of kind of encapsulating what actually goes on, and just, there are so many standout performances in there, and the writing is absolutely incredible. So I'm going to go back. Season 2, Episode 1 of The Wire, now available, streaming for free on Amazon Prime.
Beautiful.
Good one.
Yeah.
I actually watched the first episode of The Wire and was like, I don't understand why people love this. But
Season 1, Episode 1 is not indicative. I had the same thing. I had a bunch of people come to me and say, oh my god, The Wire is the best thing ever. And I was like, awesome. So I watched the first episode and I was like, I don't think I understand this. But since so many people had recommended it to me, I stuck with it, and that's why I went to Season 2, Episode 1.
Cool.
If you like Season 2, Episode 1, then I think that you'll get the whole course. Because Season 1, Episode 1 is a little slow to get going, especially because it's something that's interesting when you go back and watch it again. There are so many characters that are pivotal to almost the rest of the series that show up in Season 1, Episode 1, that you have zero idea why it's important that they're there.
Cool. So it's just the fact that Episode 1 of Season 1 didn't have a twist ending, and that's what...
It's a show built for doubling back on.
Boom. Cool. Ideas?
I'd be the only one left, you fucking asshole.
No, actually, that's not true.
No, I haven't gone.
I didn't ask for anything from Dave either, Keith. So
Dave doesn't count.
Thank you, Topher. Game over.
I didn't assign any homework.
Do you have anything specific that's not keeping kids alive?
No, I don't.
Okay.
That's a pretty good thing to double back on, though, for real.
Yeah. Should probably double back on that every couple hours.
No, watch the movie Kids.
Or Bebe's Kids.
If you want to double back, watch Kids. Because it's got the white hype from The Wires in it.
Ooh.
What? Is this a movie called Kids?
Yeah,
You've never seen Kids?
I've never seen it.
Dave?
Oh, you illiterate fuck.
Is Jimmy McNulty in it?
Is
No.
Bubbles in it?
What's the white kid's name from The Wire that has the fake money?
Fuck.
He's the hype. He's that crackhead.
Yes.
Okay, so is that legit
It's
homework?
Bubble Friends.
Yeah, I think if you haven't seen Kids, you should watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kids is one of those movies, that it's just such an uplifting piece of
Feel good.
cinematography.
Feel good.
It's a feel-good, it's one of those after a long day, I just can't decide whether it's Kids or Schindler's List. So sometimes I do both. Like, I just listen to the audio of Schindler's List, but watch Kids.
Well, I'm watching Kids.
Yeah.
Like, you
They're
know
the
what?
anti-Shawshank Redemptions.
Brett, I think you'll like the
choice
ending.
is too
It's
uplifting.
definitely a twist ending to Kids.
Oh, it's true, actually.
I actually got suspended from high school for writing a parody of Kids for my theater class.
Shut the fuck up. How do you write a parody about that movie?
Involving children eating mac and cheese together. It was like, one guy trying to talk the girl into eating mac and cheese, and then it cuts to like a violent stirring of a bowl of mac and cheese. Like the beginning of the movie. You'll get it when you've seen the movie.
I really want you just to read us
that.
the script
You should have
that
been
got you
suspended
suspended from
I got
high
suspended
school.
for a whole week.
That's fair.
That is amazing.
My God, I'm so impressed with you right now.
Right?
You're a towering inferno of a man. There's no doubt about it.
Time moment.
Okay, so since Keith got dick hurt a little bit because I didn't ask him for homework, Dave, it's only fair that I throw it to you as well.
I mean, I feel bad because this has been a wonderful laugh fest of a Double Back podcast tonight. We've been recording for 72 plus hours, and it feels really great. But no one has done this yet. No one's brought it down to this level. But this is our first podcast since Robin Williams died. So I want to double back on Robin Williams' performance that I love. It's the only time I can really talk about Good Will Hunting without people rolling their eyes at me. I know that I saw that movie probably right at the right time.
Who rolls your eyes about Good Will Hunting? I will fist fight a man.
Great movie. Yeah,
Who rolls
who's
their
upset
eyes?
about that?
Make a move.
Good Will Hunting is my favorite movie of all time, and when I tell people that, sometimes I get eye rolls, like I'm really looking for the next Catcher in the Rye by watching that movie over and over again. But I really feel like after Robin Williams died, I went and rewatched that movie, and I rewatched it from his character's point of view, which is something I'd never done before. Because I'm a young guy, I have always watched it from the Matt Damon character's point of view, and I've always taken that message from it. So go back, rewatch it from Robin Williams' therapist point of view from that movie, and I think it'd be shaking your head, no.
Oh no! I think it's a wonderful piece of homework. I tried to watch that and Dead Poet Society and made it like 10 minutes in and couldn't do it because I didn't want to wreck my fucking psyche. So spoiler alert: I'm not doing this homework. I think it's a wonderful idea that everyone
There's some
should
real
do.
uplifting homework here.
I can't. I'm sorry.
I think that
Hashtag
Watch Kids, punch yourself in the face.
and then watch Good Will Hunting and cry yourself to sleep.
So we got a couple things there to double back on. Hopefully have some enlightening conversation prepped for episode 14. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank Toph, Keith, Ryan, Judson, and Dave for joining me tonight on the podcast. If you have opinions on anything we've talked about today, have some things you want us to start keeping in mind, that correlates with the homework, please make sure you hit us up in the comments here. Any comments on the website, please feel free to subscribe to the podcast. We're available on Stitcher and iTunes, and we'll look forward to seeing you characters next time. Double backers, finger guns.
Finger guns.
Pew, 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 pew.